Boston, 2008. The fluorescent lights flickered overhead as Amara Jenkins wiped down the conference table. She was only 21, juggling her linguistics studies at the University of Massachusetts on scholarship and a grueling night job cleaning offices in a fledgling tech startup. Her cleaning cart sat quietly in the corner, next to well-worn textbooks. It was 11:30 p.m., and she still had 2 more conference rooms to finish before she could crawl back to her tiny South End apartment, grab a few hours of sleep, then do it all again tomorrow. Suddenly, a deep voice startled her. Michael Thompson, a Harvard grad freshly minted as CEO, leaned casually in the doorway, his gaze locking onto the linguistics book poking out from her cleaning supplies. "Studying while you work?" he asked. She nodded, nervous but composed. He stepped inside, flipping through the book, Advanced Linguistic Theory. "That's not light reading," he said. She explained her scholarship and passion for translation technologies. Curiosity got the better of him, and he invited her for coffee in the sleek executive kitchen. For nearly an hour, they talked about languages, culture, and tech. Amara quietly impressing Michael with her fluency in 4 languages and self-taught skills in Mandarin and Arabic. Despite the obvious class divide, him in his tailored suit, her in her cleaning uniform, something shifted. Their late-night chats became routine, revealing bits of their worlds, his pressures to uphold family legacy, her sacrifices growing up in Sao Paulo, dreaming of revolutionizing language tech. One night, Michael said, "You're too smart to be cleaning offices." She answered pragmatically, "Smart doesn't pay tuition or change visa rules." A month later, he invited her out, somewhere nice, not in uniform. Amara's warning bells rang, but she silenced them. Michael was different behind closed doors, curious, respectful, and when he smiled, she felt a flutter in her stomach. Dinner in Back Bay was elegant, and though Amara felt painfully out of place in a second-hand dress, Michael's attention and gentle compliments eased her nerves. 3 dinners later, a kiss in the back of his car sealed their new reality. His Beacon Hill apartment was a world away, soaring ceilings, original moldings, luxury beyond her wildest dreams. "This is just fun, Amara," he said one morning. "We come from different worlds." She nodded, a small ache deep inside. Then, reality crashed hard. Amara missed a lecture, sick and scared, and soon after confirmed she was pregnant. For 3 days, she moved through a fog of panic. Her visa restricted work hours, which she was already breaking, and Michael had been clear about boundaries. But she had to tell him. Sitting in a Starbucks on Commonwealth Avenue, shaking, she whispered, "I'm pregnant." Michael's face hardened. "What do you want me to do?" he snapped. When she said she didn't know, he wrote her a check for $10,000 to solve the problem. "Don't contact me again," he said coldly. She refused the money, dignity intact. "You clean offices and barely afford rent," he sneered. "You'll never be enough." That night, alone with the snow falling outside, Amara's world had shattered. The university revoked her scholarship after discovering she worked too many hours. The company replaced her cleaning position. Pregnant, exhausted, and alone, she cleaned 3 buildings every night, studied on breaks, and fought to survive. Then fate intervened. During a 2 a.m. cleaning shift at Ellison International Trading, Amara overheard a Mandarin conference call left on a laptop. She translated flawlessly, correcting subtle errors better than their official interpreter. Startled by the CEO Eleanor Ellison's sharp question, "Where did you learn Mandarin?" Amara admitted she was self-taught. Eleanor was impressed. 3 days later, Amara gave birth to her daughter Zara. A week after that, she started a junior translator job at Ellison, with flexible hours, a salary triple her cleaning wages, and a path to a work visa. In the maternity ward, cradling newborn Zara, Amara vowed. Her daughter would never know desperation like hers. But returning to work was brutal. No daycare would take a newborn at night, so Amara found an elderly neighbor to watch Zara during shifts, eating half her paycheck. Every night, as she cleaned empty offices, her body aching, her mind raced with memories of Michael's cruel words. Yet she held tight to hope. She mastered more languages, even Arabic, practicing phrases on the subway. One evening, a businessman surprised her by switching to Arabic, praising her pronunciation. It was the first genuine conversation she'd had in the language. Despite the hardship, hospital bills, sleepless nights, Amara pushed forward, relentless. At Ellison, her talent blossomed. She nailed a high-stakes Mandarin translation for visiting Chinese investors, smoothing cultural references and idioms that could have derailed the deal. Her salary rose, and she began developing theories combining AI with cultural insight, not just translation, but true understanding. Zara grew up absorbing languages and numbers like a sponge. By 5, she spoke English, Portuguese, Spanish, French, and was starting Mandarin. Together, they formed a unique bond of intellect and resilience. 5 years later, Amara stood in the penthouse office of Transcend Translations, now a billion-dollar enterprise. Her company's innovative blend of AI and cultural nuance was redefining global communication, locking out competitors, including Michael's once dominant firm, ATA Boston Conference. Michael's presentation almost derailed when his Arabic interpreter couldn't make it. Desperation crept in as the Saudi investors prepared to leave. Then Amara rose, stepping into the spotlight with flawless Arabic, rescuing the deal. While Michael watched, pale and shaken, Zara, now 14 and a Harvard prodigy, appeared beside her mother, greeting the Saudi prince with poise. Michael was stunned. Amara made it clear, some are born to lead, others to serve. You misjudged who's who. Amara accepted a prestigious leadership award that night, recalling her journey from lonely pregnant cleaner to global CEO, her voice steady, eyes fierce. Michael sat isolated, confronted by what he had lost. Days later, Amara's company acquired Michael's struggling firm for a fraction of its former value, a decisive move sealing the chapter. Zara asked about her father and their absence from Boston. Amara entrusted her daughter to decide if and when to meet him, respecting her autonomy. Returning to Boston for Zara's Harvard interview, Amara walked familiar streets, memories flooding back, the Starbucks where Michael handed her that check. The old apartment building, now gentrified beyond recognition. She was no longer the woman who fled. The conference where both would speak. Amara delivered a powerful keynote on cross-cultural communication, commanding the room with confidence born of hard-earned wisdom. When Michael took the stage, Amara watched from the shadows, ready for what was to come. The rest is history. It's been 6 months since that unforgettable day at the Boston conference, the day Amara Jenkins stepped out of the shadows and into the spotlight, leaving Michael Thompson stunned and scrambling to salvage his legacy. But victory, as Amara quickly learned, isn't a finish line. It's just the start of a whole new race. When Amara's company, Transcend Translations, finalized the acquisition of Thompson Technologies, it sent shockwaves through the tech world. Michael's empire, once a titan, was now a subsidiary, a fading echo of its former self. And yet, Michael wasn't ready to fold. One cold morning in Manhattan, Michael showed up unannounced at Amara's office. The man who once dismissed her as disposable now looked worn, humbled, but still burning with something fierce, desperation, regret, maybe even hope. His suit was impeccable but ill-fitting, his eyes shadowed by sleepless nights. Amara, he began, voice strained but steady, I came to talk about the future, not the past. She listened carefully, arms crossed, skepticism thick in the air. Michael laid out plans to rebuild, to innovate, to learn from his mistakes. He wasn't asking for charity. He wanted a partnership. A real one this time. Amara's heart raced, but not for him. For what this meant to Zara, the brilliant daughter they both shared. Could they build something new together? Or was this just another broken promise waiting to happen? Meanwhile, Zara was growing into her own force. At 15, her intellect was dazzling and her resolve unshakable. She was already spearheading research projects in computational linguistics, blending her mother's passion for language with cutting-edge technology. But there was another side to her, one shaped by years of observing the complexities between her parents. One afternoon, Zara confronted Amara in their sleek Manhattan apartment, a question heavy in her eyes. Mom, what if I want to meet him? Not just because he's my father, but because I want to understand him. Amara nodded slowly, knowing this day would come. When you're ready, you'll decide. I won't stand in your way. That night, a quiet tension filled the air. Amara stared out over the city skyline, thinking about all she had sacrificed and gained. Her phone buzzed, a message from Michael. Can we meet? For Zara's sake. She hesitated, then typed back. Let's talk. For her. The meeting was set in a neutral, understated cafe, away from the glare of boardrooms and headlines. Michael arrived early, nervously adjusting his collar, waiting for the daughter he'd never truly known. Zara walked in with the calm confidence of someone who had already done the hard work of forgiveness, mostly for herself. Their conversation was awkward at first, full of careful words and unspoken emotions. Michael admitted his failures, the mistakes he'd made, not just as a businessman, but as a father. Zara listened, analytical yet compassionate, challenging him with questions that cut straight to the heart. Over time, a fragile bond began to form. Michael attended Zara's academic presentations and even joined a family dinner hosted by Amara, small steps that felt monumental to all three. But outside their personal world, storms brewed. Transcend's rapid rise rattled industry giants. Competitors launched aggressive campaigns to undermine the company's reputation, spreading rumors and questioning the integrity of Amara's leadership. Old allies turned cold. New rivals emerged. At the same time, internal tensions surfaced. Some board members doubted Amara's vision. The blending of AI with cultural intelligence was revolutionary but risky. They pressured her to prioritize short-term profits over long-term innovation. Amara faced a choice: compromise and protect the status quo, or double down on her mission to redefine global communication. She chose the latter, launching a groundbreaking AI upgrade, one that promised real-time, culturally aware translation across all major languages and beyond. The launch event was tense. Investors held their breath. The tech community watched with bated breath. And then, the impossible happened. The system outperformed all expectations, flawlessly interpreting nuanced dialects, idioms, and cultural contexts, even in high-stakes diplomatic scenarios. The breakthrough secured Transcend's place at the top, shutting out competitors and opening doors to new global markets. Amara stood on the stage, accepting accolades once again, but this time, her eyes sought out her daughter and Michael. Sitting together in the front row, symbols of a complicated past and a hopeful future. Yet, as the applause swelled, Amara knew the work was far from over. The world was changing, and with it came new challenges in technology, in business, and in the fragile threads of human connection. She glanced at Michael, who caught her gaze and nodded, an unspoken acknowledgement that some wounds heal slowly. But even the deepest scars could become the foundation for something stronger. Before the lights dimmed, Amara turned to the crowd and spoke, her voice steady and commanding. True communication transcends words, it's understanding. And understanding is the key to a future where no one is left behind because of where they started or who they are. As the crowd erupted in applause, she left them with a question: what does it really mean to forgive? To lead? To build a legacy? And how do we choose to rewrite the stories we thought were finished? On Men True Vio, this part 2 opens the door to exploring reconciliation, legacy, innovation, and the ongoing battle between personal and professional worlds. Perfect for stirring rich discussion and emotional engagement in your content. Would you like me to prepare specific dialogue excerpts, cliffhangers, or discussion prompts to maximize viewer interaction?